I'm saying, but now we're pushing something that you need to question your father, or your father doesn't have your best intention, or your father doesn't understand. Like you just said, that's a separation of parent and child, and that's ultimately the agenda, because kids are vulnerable. We had a whole video about this, the vulnerability of children. Trying to separate kids from their parents in any type of agenda is wrong. It's evil, because your mentor did not have a better interest in you than your father, not naturally. And so when we're speaking about this in a general sense, naturally, nobody's going to have a better intention for their son than his father. So why push a narrative to say that someone else needs to step between that relationship? Especially a man who doesn't have the same even sexual orientation or desires that this man has for his child. It just doesn't make sense. It's putting a being that's contradictory to what this man is trying to instill in his son to tell him something opposite. Now we're two-sided.
Well, it's topics like this, and people who put these type of messages out, who have the most influence in the world, and some of the most powerful people in the world who put out these messages. They put out these messages. This is the scary part, right?
Yeah.
And this is the issue that we are now having in America, and why America is so distorted and why America is so lost, is because now you have men and women who do not understand the true value system of women and the true value system of men, right? Which is why now you have a crisis between feminists and masculinity, right? And it's a great divide, which is now why you're seeing people not wanting to be married anymore, which is now why you're seeing people not wanting to have children anymore, right? It's the reason why you now see more single parent households. It's the reason why now you see more children being abandoned. It's the reason why you see more children in adoption centers. It's all because of topics like this that people like Obama and all these other big platforms and powerful people are putting out these messages to separate women, men, and the transgenders, and the gay men, and the lesbian women, right? It's literally a big separation. It's a trifecta. It's literally it's all of us are now so separated. You have 13 categories now. You have men, women. Some of them are kind of men. Some of them are kind of women. Some of them are fully men. But there's so many different categories. That's why everyone's lost. Why everyone's confused. Because no one has been taught. No one has been told what the true value system of what men and women are. And that's the crisis that we have here. Men, stop listening to people like this who are telling you how to raise your children. You know how you raise your children? Open the book and he will tell you,
the Bible,
how to raise your children. Don't listen to another man who's telling you to turn your son into a girl, or don't listen to another woman who's telling you to turn your daughter into a boy. It's wrong. This is the issue that we're having. Men, we are supposed to stand for something, not sit down. There's a reason why we stand up while we pee. And there's a reason why women sit down when they pee. Because men, you're supposed to stand up for something, not sit down for everything. And that's the reason why we have this huge war, and why men are so afraid of women now, because you don't stand for anything because you're afraid to open up your mouth, right? Use that bass in your voice for something. That's an inside joke between us. Seriously, we have an issue, men now, they're too afraid to stand up for something because you're afraid of what your friends may think. You may not be able to go to your barber anymore because maybe your barber is LGBTQ, right? It does not mean that you can't associate with people in the world, because at the end of the day, we all have our ups and our downs. All this means is you have to stand for something. And if you learn how to properly stand for something, right, you won't lose your friends. It just means your friends respect you enough to understand what lines to cross and what lines not to cross. But if you don't stand for anything, everyone is going to cross that line. Everyone is going to step overboard. Everyone is going to come to knocking at your door at 12 a.m. and you're supposed to be in the bed at 9 p.m. Everyone is going to overstep your rules and your boundaries if you don't stand for anything. And it's the most important for men. Because men, like I said, you have to stand for something. Because if you stand for something, that means your wife will stand for something. And if your wife stands for something, that means your children will stand for something. And if your children stand for something, that means their children will stand for something. But now we live in a world where no one wants to say anything. No one wants to stand for anything. Everyone wants to just dibble and dabble in a little bit of everything. And that's the issue.
Yeah, I like what you said about the separation of everybody. It's that's what I was speaking about. It's a tactic. It's not to say that anybody who is a part of the LGBT shouldn't experience grace, love, understanding. It's not anybody's place to judge. We can say what we don't support, but that's not the person. Their actions, that's like me sitting over here saying, like, my daughter stole something. Do I not love my daughter because she did something that I don't agree with? I still love my daughter. Exactly. But I don't support what she's done. Exactly. And that's okay. And I love the way Malik just put that we live in a generation of support. Everything needs to be inclusive. Nothing should be exclusive. Everybody gets a banner. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a badge. That's not real. That's not real. At the end of the day, there are boundaries, there are lines, and everybody is different. Everybody's belief system is different. Everybody's understanding of the world, everybody's life experience is different. So when it comes down to what I believe, what we believe, it doesn't mean that we can't be friends with people who oppose our beliefs or have different type of beliefs. It just means that you respect us for what you know about us, because we provide clarity about that. And as long as you can respect that, we can respect you. You understand our stance, we understand yours. But because everybody believes that we have to agree, and because everybody believes that we have to all kumbaya, and if anybody says anything, they're excluded and they're canceled, it's a lukewarm, fragile generation that lacks courage, they don't stand for anything. How could you tell me that 100 people in a group all have the same beliefs, same understanding, no, you don't. You just don't want to speak up for what you believe in because it's not cool or it's not popular opinion. That's what social media has done to us. It's before you leave a comment, you scroll through the comments to see if somebody else said it first. You have to feel included and share your opinion with somebody else for you to feel validated. And that's the issue. Your children will be a flock-minded, cattle-minded, whatever. They will have the same mind as everyone around them unless you differentiate them from the group. You have to help your children through you, not from what you say, but from who you are. You have to stand for something so that your children can have an individual mindset. They can think for themselves and they can understand the world in a perspective that is within God's will, because anybody who believes that should be your goal. Your goal should be to produce a generation that has more clarity about God's will than we did. Like, our parents had their issues teaching us, and then me and Malik will run into issues or little bumps on how we teach our children, and it would just get better and better and better to create a better understanding of what God wants for us, right? So when Obama is coming and saying this about future generations, because these are fathers with younger kids, or fathers, some of these men who are listening to this message have young boys or whatever, that's an influence of the next generation. You as a parent have to be able to oppose that. You as a parent have to be able to, because kids have phones. If they see Obama saying this, you as a parent have to instill something in your children of individual thinking, and not to just take what they see online and just take it for fact. You have to establish that. That's a habit. That's not something that they'll be born with. So it's just important to not be a bandwagoner. It's important to have individual thought processes. And it's important for everybody watching this to respect other people's opinions. Because once we can get to a place where everybody can have adult conversations and respectfully disagree with one another, then we can have real conversations on progression as a whole. Yeah. But because we lie to each other in each other's faces, and we can't talk about our true intention and what we really feel and all this, now everybody's talking about, I keep my circle small. Everybody is snakes. I can't trust nobody. We have this fear of other individuals because of their difference of opinion, which is crazy to me. It's fragile. It's weak.
Yeah, because the truth is this. All of y'all that are watching this or may see this, I'm talking to you. If you see someone that says something good, but if nobody likes it, you're going to pretend like you didn't see it. But if you see something that's, it's alright, it's mediocre, but everybody else liked it, you'll repost it, you'll share it. It could be a trash message, but you'll repost it. Why? Because it got 10,000 likes, because it got 5,000 likes, because it got 100 reposts. But it could be something simple like, a rapper he said that he'll never let somebody play him dirty. And you'll repost it and say, this was the greatest quote ever. And it's my 3-year-old could have said that.
Little baby was cooking.
My 3-year-old daughter could say that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And that's what y'all like to repost. Y'all like to repost and, hype up and support things that mean nothing. But you don't support things that mean something, that stand for something. Why? Because you're a coward. That's the truth. You're a coward. And I know that you're a coward because you know what I'm saying is the truth and you feel it in your heart right now. That's the truth. You're afraid of not being accepted. You're afraid of being a black sheep. You're afraid of losing your account. You're afraid of losing your followers. You're afraid of losing your business. You're afraid of losing money. You're afraid of all of these different things. But guess what? None of these things you can take with you once you're gone. That's why it's more important to stand for something than it is to idolize something that means nothing when you're gone.
A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. And that's why I learned that in the Bible there's so many things that people repeat that have turned into cliches, but they actually have so much profound meaning.
Yeah.
Like when Jesus says, deny me in front of man and I will deny you in front of my Father, there's a reason for that. It's so funny because I've talked to people when I was growing up. You go to church and you have these conversations, right? And everybody will say that if there was a gun to my head and somebody said, do you believe in Jesus? I'm gonna say, yeah. And it's like, are you joking? You can't even tell somebody in line that skipped you that you was in line. You can't even control anything around you in a mature manner. You have no courage to speak up for yourself or what's right or what you believe in. You have no courage to even open your mouth. You're scared to be seen. So to see a barrel in your face and then you think, I would say yes, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you would.
It's unbelievable. You have to really take account for who you are as a person. And I'm speaking from self. I used to say that. And I looked at myself like, Tyshe, you're weak. Tyshe, you have to be for real. You scared of cockroaches. You scared of everything. And God is cultivating within me now courage. That's what he wants you to have. He wants you to be able to speak on his behalf. He wants you to be proud of your belief system. He wants you to be able to talk to your brother and your sister and your friends and your family and everybody around you about what's right in a respectful, loving way, to be able to spread his gospel. It's not for judgment. It's not for conviction. Or if you feel convicted, that's within yourself. But the purpose is not for us to feel like we're better than you because we know something you don't. No, it's not that. It's genuinely because we should love you enough to tell you.
Yeah, the purpose of it is, if I see you doing something wrong, I should have the courage to stand up and say you're doing something wrong. And the reason that these messages are important to us is because we want the same thing in return. We talk about it all the time. We don't find anybody these days that can come back and say, hey Malik, hey Tyshe, y'all are doing something wrong. Y'all should fix this. No one says anything. I want people to come to me and say, hey, you did this wrong. Make sure you fix that next time. You're right.
Sharpen that iron.
You're right.
Yeah.
I'll fix that next time. But no one has the courage to say anything. And that's all that I'm saying. That's all that we're saying. We are here to say, hey, y'all are doing something wrong. Be better. Y'all are doing something wrong. Fix it. And tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mom, tell your dad, hey, y'all are doing something wrong. Fix it. You see something wrong. Fix it. You don't have to be afraid to lose followers. You don't have to be afraid to lose subscribers.